Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajana
Yamunatira Vanachari
Yamunatira Vanachara
Yamunatira Vanachari
Yamunatira Vanachari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Ramachandra Raghuvira Ramachandra Ranadhira Ramachandra Raghuvira Ramachandra Ranadhira Ramachandra Raghuram Ramachandra Param Ramachandra Raghuram Ramachandra Param Ramachandra Raghurama Ramachandra Param Ramachandra Raghunatha Ramachandra Jagannatha Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivajakacarya Stutsa Shri Srimad Advaita Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada
Jai,
Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki
Jai,
Ramacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki
Jai,
प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की
Jai.
साई गौर प्रेमानंदी
Hari Hari Bol.
all glories to the assembled devotees
Hare Krishna.
all glories to the assembled devotees
Hare Krishna.
all glories to the assembled devotees
Hare Krishna.
all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams to all the devotees. Thank you all for joining tonight. We are very fortunate to have association of Her Grace Govinda Priya Mataji tonight. Mataji was born in a Vaishnava family in India, and she came to Krishna consciousness, especially in ISKCON, through Chopati. That's awesome. We have so many fired up, powerful devotees all over the globe coming from Chopati. Mataji is one of them. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your support and service that you have done so far. She is disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. Mataji was residing with Prabhu in New Brindavan for many years. I think at that time I was in Columbus, so I might have, met Mataji so many times during my stay in Columbus. Right now, she is staying in Sacramento, California, with Prabhu, Sankaranand Prabhu, who was a speaker, and two beautiful children there. Very Krishna conscious family. Mataji has multiple services. The entire family is dedicated to serve Prabhupada's mission. So Mataji is basically, serving as the, minister for the Vaishnava. Oh, she is basically the member of the Vaishnava minister for North America. And recently she got some excellent service, and she is serving as secretary for JVC nomination committee. And also she is very, very active with JVC strategic planning team. So many exalted service Mataji is part of. Thank you so much, Mataji, for everything that you are uh, doing for ISKCON. And once again, welcome, Mataji. Today we are going to hear about pastime of Lord Ramchandraji. So Mataji, back to you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Ramacharya Prabhu, and thank you so much to all the devotees for giving me this opportunity and allowing me to be amongst all of you over here. Actually, Lord Shiva, who is the original reciter of Ramayana, he describes Ramayana, he recites Ramayana to Parvati Devi. So there's a beautiful description there that Parvati Devi is just, married, and she's maybe 10 days after the marriage, she goes to Lord Shiva and she asks Lord Shiva that I need one benediction. I want something from you. And Lord Shiva, in his mind, he's thinking that, oh, she's a newly married woman. What is she going to desire? At that time, Mother Parvati, she says, my only desire right now is that I want to hear the wonderful pastimes of Lord Ramchandra from your mouth. And with great enthusiasm, Lord Shiva, who's Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambho, he becomes so enthusiastic and he chants this beautiful verse. He says, Dhanya Dhanya Giriraj Kumari, Tum Samana Nahi Koi Upakari, which actually means, he says, Dhanya Dhanya. He said, I'm so grateful. Dhanya Dhanya means it's repeated twice. He says, I'm beyond grateful to you, who's Giriraj Kumari. But the Parvati is the daughter of the mountain Himalayas, Giriraj Kumari. Because you are now giving me an opportunity to meditate and recite the wonderful pastimes of Lord Ramchandra. So I'm actually very grateful to all of you for giving me this opportunity and allowing me to meditate on the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra. I actually wanted to pull up a verse. Do I have screen share rights, Prabhu? I think I do. Okay. I wanted to pull up this beautiful verse, which comes from the 11th canto, 5th chapter, and 34th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll try to recite it, and we'll read maybe one paragraph of the purport. It's a beautiful verse. Vakta sudvishtva sursriptaraj lakshmim dharmisht arya vachasa yadagad aranyam maya mrigam daitya asittam anvadhayat vande mahapurushat charanarvindam. So over here in this beautiful verse, let's look at the word by word translation. Tvakta, abandoning. Sudvishta, most difficult to give up. Sura, ipsita, anxiously desired by the demigods. Raj Lakshmim, the goddess of fortune and her opulence. Dharmishtha, most perfectly fixed in religiousness. Arya Vachasa, according to the words of Brahmana, who had cursed him to be deprived of all happiness of family life. Yet he who, Agat, went, Aranyam, to the forest, taking to the renounced order of life. Maya Mrigam, the conditioned soul, who is always searching out illusory enjoyment. Daitaya, out of sheer mercy. Ipsitam, his desired object. Anvadhavat, running after. One day, I offer my homage. Mahapurusha, O Mahaprabhu, te, to your. Charana Aravindam, lotus feet. O Mahapurusha, I worship your lotus feet. You gave up the association of goddess of fortune and all her opulence, which is most difficult to renounce and is hankered even by the great demigods. Being the most faithful follower of the path of religion, you thus left the forest in obedience to a Brahmana's curse. Out of sheer mercifulness, you chased after the fallen conditioned souls who are always in pursuit of the false enjoyment of illusion, and at the same time engaged in the searching at your own desired object, Lord Shamasundar. So this wonderful purport is by the servants of Srila Prabhupada, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. We'll read the first paragraph. According to the Vaishnavacharyas, this important verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is understood to describe Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna, and also Lord Ramachandra. This verse appears within the discussion by the sage Karabhanjana of the Yuga avatars, or the different incarnations of the personality of Godhead who deliver the conditioned souls of each age. The prayers ending with the words Vande Mahapurusha Te Charanara Vindam are understood to glorify the incarnation of Lord Krishna in Kali Yuga, known as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived for 24 years in Navadvip as a householder and enjoyed immense popularity among both scholars and ordinary persons. His Sankirtan movement was completely supported by the local government, even though it was Muslim. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had the pleasure of marrying the goddess of fortune. No ordinary woman of the material world, no matter how gorgeous she may be, can in any way compare to the beautiful goddess of fortune. Everyone in the universe, including Lord Brahma, is searching after the goddess of fortune, therefore stated as Suripsita. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamyam Dadati Swaham Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathamritam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhamvitamsam Vandeham Shri Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in this beautiful verse that we just read from the 11th canto, it is explained that this verse is not only applicable to Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but it is also applicable to Lord Ramchandra. And anyone desiring to become free from the cycle of birth and death and the bondage of this material existence should worship the Lord. Of course, Gaudiya Vaishnavas worship Shriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Srila Jiva Goswami has very beautifully mentioned, he mentions that the word Rama in the Maha Mantra can actually mean so many things. It can mean Lord Ramchandra, it can mean Balaram, it can also mean, he actually says, Rakar Srimati Radha, Makar Madhusudano, Dvya Varga Samoya, Ram Nam Iti Khilal. So that Ram Nam can also mean Radha Rani and Madhusudana, Radha Madhusudana. It can also mean that. So when we are meditating on these two syllables, Ram, it can be based on the meditation of Lord Ramchandra, on Balaram, on Radha Madhusudana, and our meditation can be fixed on the wonderful lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra. And today we are here meditating on the beautiful, beautiful pastimes of Lord Ramchandra. Actually, just like Srimad Bhagavatam, how many of you know the 3 places where Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken? Does anybody want to unmute and tell me the 3 places where Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken? Primary 3 places where Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken. So the first place is, of course, when Shukdev Goswami speaks to Maharaj Parikshit. The second place is where Sutta Goswami speaks to the sages of Naimisharanya. And the third place is where Maitra Rishi speaks to Vidura. Similarly, Ramayana has also been spoken primarily in 3 places. And today we'll try to dive into one of these places, and we'll try to read some beautiful reasons as to why Lord Ramchandra actually appears on this Bhuloka. So it is explained that Yagyavala Rishi actually recites Ramayana to Bhardwaj Rishi. He actually visits Bhardwaj Rishi in Prayag. He stays there for 10 days. And when he's ready to leave, Bhardwaj Rishi request Yagavala Rishi that please you stay back and recite the beautiful pastimes of Lord Ramchandra. So he does. Yagavala Rishi stays back and he recites the pastimes. Similarly, Kal Bhushandi, he recites and narrates the beautiful pastimes of Lord Ramchandra to Garuda. And the original person, Lord Shiva, Shambhu, he recites the beautiful pastimes of Lord Ramchandra to Parvati on her request. Like I mentioned, Parvati actually approaches Lord Shiva and she says that I want to hear the beautiful pastimes of Lord Ramchandra from you. So Lord Shiva decides to narrate these beautiful pastimes. But before we go into these pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, there is a very, very beautiful, instructive story that comes in the pages of Shiva Puran and Ramayana, describing how important it is to attentively hear with faith and devotion the wonderful pastimes of Lord Ramchandra. Lord Ramchandra is playing the role of a human. You see Lord Ramchandra is crying in the forest looking for Mother Sita. He's asking trees and creepers and animals, have you seen Sita? Have you seen Sita? So many people, ordinary people, can get bewildered. Is this really the Lord? Is this truly the Lord? So Lord Shiva actually, through his own example and life, he narrates this beautiful, beautiful pastime, very instructive pastime with Mother Sati before she gives up her body in the arena, in the fire sacrifice at Daksha Prajapati. So the Ramayankars, they sing this beautiful, Ramayana is sung in a very beautiful chaupai. They sing it in this recitation is very beautiful. So it is actually saying, Ek baar treta yug jani, Shambhu chale kumbhaj rishi pani, Sang chali jag janani bhavani. So here is mentioned that Ek bar Treta Yuga Jani. Once upon a time when it was Treta Yuga, Shambhu Chale Kumbhaja Rishi Pani. So Lord Shiva is sitting in Kailash, he hears that, oh, Kumbhaja Rishi, he is getting ready to narrate the beautiful pastimes of Lord Ramchandra in his hermitage. So he tells Mother Sati that let's go. We are going to go and hear, like we all go for home programs and hear. So Lord Shiva wonderfully takes his family and he decides to go to the ashram, the hermitage of Kumbhaja Rishi. And here very beautiful words are used. Sanga chale jag janani bhavani. So jag janani bhavani is also accompanying Lord Shiva to the hermitage of Kumbhaja Rishi. Now what happens over there? Lord Shiva, along with Mother Sati, they go to the hermitage of Kumbhaja Rishi. And as soon as Kumbhaja Rishi sees Lord Shiva, he immediately gets up from the Vyasasana and he offers obeisances to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, as soon as he sees Kumbhaja Rishi, he offers obeisances to Kumbhaja Rishi. So seeing this exchange, Mother Sati becomes a little bewildered. She said, we came all this way far away from Kailash to hear some great sage, but this sage is offering obeisances to my husband. Why did we come from so far to hear Ram Katha from Kumbhaja Rishi? So this thought comes into her mind. So slight deviation of faith happens there. A very instructive pastime where they hear the pastime. So Kumbhaja Rishi spends few days describing the wonderful pastime. Lord Shiva is in ecstasy, hearing the pastimes of Lord Ram. And Mother Sati is also listening to the pastimes of Ram, but she has kind of lost faith in the speaker, thinking that, oh, he's subordinate to my husband. You know, why did we come from so far to listen to Kumbhaja Rishi? Thinking like this, now it's time to go back. The Katha, the Sapta has finished. And with great delight, Lord Shiva is very, very excited and bliss, and he's deciding to go back now to Kailash. And over there, the reciters of Ramayana, they chant another beautiful verse. Muni Sangha Vida Mange Tripurari Bhavana Chale Sangha Daksha Kumari. Just see the play of words here. So here it is said, Muni Sangha Vida. So this is in Avadh Bhasha, because it is from Ramayana. And he's saying Muni Sangha Vida. So he begs leave. Mange Tripurari. Who is Tripurari? Lord Shiva is Tripurari. So Muni Sangha Vida, Mange Tripurari. Bhavana Chale. He goes back to his house. Sangha Daksha Kumari. While coming, she was known as Jagajanani Bhavani. And now while going, because of her offense to Kumbhaja Rishi and not being able to relish the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, now they're comparing her to the daughter of Daksha. She was the daughter of Daksha, but Daksha is also very famously known for his arrogance and his offense to Lord Shiva. So here the Ramayankaras are referring to Mother Sati as Daksha Kumari. Now a beautiful thing happens. This is happening in Treta Yuga. Lord Shiva and Mother Sati are going back to Kailash. And on the way, while going to Kailash, they're witnessing the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra in the forest. And there they're seeing that Lord Ramchandra is hugging the trees and creepers and the animals and asking, did you see Sita? Did you see Sita? Did you see Sita? And Lord Shiva, just seeing this beautiful pastime of Lord Ramchandra, he tells Mother Sati, just look, our great fortune. Simply by hearing the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra from the mouth of this exalted Vaishnava, we are now granted the vision to truly witness these wonderful pastimes also. We're able to witness these pastimes now. But at that point, Mother Sati, she looks and she says, oh, this cannot be Lord Ramchandra. How is Lord Ramchandra weeping and crying? Even an ordinary man does not cry like this for his wife. Just look at how he's weeping and crying and asking animals and trees and stones and rocks and looking for Mother Sita. So can I go a little close by and see if this is really Lord Ramchandra? So Lord Shiva says, you believe me, this is Lord Ramchandra. We just heard the pastimes. And now we're able to witness. It is our great fortune. But Mother Sati says, no, I want to go closer and I want to see if this is Lord Ramchandra. So Lord Shiva says, okay, go ahead. And the Acharyas explain that once we lose faith in the pastimes and in our authorities, then an ocean of doubts cloud our mind. So Mother Sati goes closer and she decides to test Lord Ramchandra. She disguises, she takes the form of Mother Sita and she goes in front of Lord Ramchandra. And Lord Ramchandra, immediately when he sees her, he offers obeisances and he says, where is Shambhu? Where is my Lord? Where is my Lord Shiva? So immediately Sati is struck that, oh, this is truly Lord Ramchandra. Otherwise, how could he tell that I am not Sita? I'm actually Sati. So she says, oh, he's fine, and she begs forgiveness and she goes back. But Lord Shiva, knowing, being Trikaladarshi, he notices that she actually assumed the form of Mother Sita. And at that very moment, Lord Shiva decides that I cannot associate with Sati anymore. She has taken the form of my mother. I will not associate with her. The Acharyas explain that this is also one of the reasons why Sati gave up her body. So this is with how much deep faith we must hear the wonderful pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, of the Lord. Because sometimes when we lose faith or when we question and we doubt, we become bewildered. We become bewildered by the Yogamaya potency of the Lord or the Mahamaya potency of the Lord. So here a very graphic description is where Mahamaya herself becomes bewildered. So how careful we need to be about Vaishnava Parad, and how careful we need to be about attentively hearing the wonderful pastimes of the Lord. Now Parvati is actually asking Lord Shiva that please, you recite this wonderful pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, to which he says, Dhanya Dhanya Giriraj Kumari, Tum Samana Nahi Kon Upakari. That who can be more merciful, more compassionate than you, who is giving me this opportunity to meditate on the wonderful pastimes of Lord Ramchandra. And Parvati asked Lord Shiva that please, you tell me the reasons of the appearance. Tell me, why did Lord Ramchandra appear? To that, Lord Shiva says, Rama Janma ke hetu aneka, Parama Vichitra Eka se Eka. So he's saying, Rama Janma ke hetu aneka. There are several reasons why Lord Ramchandra appeared. Parama Vichitra, very, very strange. Each one is very strange. And then he goes to describe 5 primary reasons why Lord Ramchandra appears. So some of us know of some of the reasons, and because of the shortage of time, I'll try to briefly touch on some of these wonderful reasons as to why Lord Ramchandra appears. So it is said that the first reason is because Jai and Vijay. Most of you, I'm hoping, know the wonderful pastime. Jai and Vijay were the guards of the Vaikuntha planet. And when the Chatush Kumaras, they stop and refrain them from entering into Vaikuntha, at that time, they are cursed that you should become demons. And 3 for 3 births. So because of this curse, Jai and Vijay actually took birth 3 times. And in this life, where for the appearance of Lord Ramchandra, they appear in the form of Ravana and Kumbhakarna. So to deliver them, so the Acharyas also beautifully explain that when the Lord desires to fight, the chivalry spirit of the Lord is enticed, he wants to fight. He has that spirit. Sometimes he wants to fight. But who can fight with the Lord? He needs to send some of his own associates. So this is a pastime of the Lord that, the Chatush Kumaras in the Vaikuntha planets become angry. And in the Vaikuntha planets, Jai and Vijay commit an offense to the Brahmanas. This is all mystical. It is actually the Leela of the Lord that, Jai and Vijay become cursed and they take the form of Ravana and Kumbhakarna, to fight with which Lord Ramchandra appears on the Bhuloka. as the son of Dashratha and Kaushalya. The second reason is mentioned here is because of the curse of Vrinda Devi. You know, everyone knows probably the pastime of Vrinda Devi. Vrinda Devi, um, she, as a wonderful, chaste, um, she was a worshipper of Lord Vishnu. And as a chaste wife, her husband actually was a demon. The Devatas were constantly afraid of, of him to such an extent that they approach Lord Vishnu and they say that, please, till the time Vrinda Devi is worshipping you and she is chaste to her husband, it is impossible for us to kill him. So please, you do something. You disguise as her husband and go and break her chastity. So when her husband goes to fight with the Devatas, Lord Vishnu appears taking the form of Vrinda Devi's husband and associates with Vrinda Devi. And at that point, the Devatas are able to kill him. And his head actually lands on Vrinda Devi's lap. Immediately when she sees that head, she understands that she has been cheated. So she asks Lord Vishnu at that point, who at that point is still disguised as her husband, that why did you do this? But Lord Vishnu doesn't utter a word. He just stands still over there, and she curses Lord Vishnu, saying that you will become a stone because you're standing like a stone and you have cheated me. And he becomes the beautiful form. Lord Vishnu becomes the beautiful form of Shaligram Shila. And Vrinda Devi becomes Tulsi. And we do celebrate Tulsi Shaligram Vivaha. So it is also, the Acharyas explain, Lord Shiva is actually explaining to Parvati that it is also because of the curse of Vrinda Devi. This is all the pastimes of the Lord. We have to understand that what curse can implicate Lord Ramchandra, what curse can implicate Lord Shiva, or what curse can implicate Lord Vishnu. It is the wonderful pastime of the Lord, because the Lord wants to appear in this way and instruct some beautiful lessons and pastimes. That is when these beautiful pastimes take place. The third reason is even more beautiful and strange, is because of the curse of Narada Muni. This is a whole session on different curses that Lord Vishnu has received. And the verse that we just recited, it talks about receiving curses from a Brahmana. And this is what it's describing, different curses that Lord Vishnu, wonderful pastime. That's why Lord Shiva says, Parama Vichitra Ek Se Eka. Every one of them is very, very strange, more strange than the other one. So over here, he's reciting. So when Lord Shiva says, Narada Muni cursed Vishnu. So at that time, Parvati was a student. Narada Muni was her guru. So she says, wait a minute. Narada Muni? Why would Narada Muni curse? My guru cannot curse without any reason. Please tell me, what was the reason that Narada Muni cursed Vishnu? So Lord Shiva, and very elaborate, he describes. And Ramacharya Prabhu, did you say that we have to end at 4:30 my time? Ramacharya Prabhu, can you please confirm?
Sorry, Mataji, I was muted. Yes, Mataji, I think we can go 10 more minutes. I think we should cover the 5 points that you were.
I'm trying to summarize it.
Yes, yes. No, we'll hear that pastime. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. So when Narada Muni, he was doing intense tapasya. Lord Shiva is describing to Mother Parvati that he was performing intense tapasya. And you have to understand that all these pastimes are for us to learn these beautiful lessons. When he is performing this intense tapasya, Lord Indra becomes very fearful. He is constantly fearful that anybody who's doing tapasya wants his throne. So he goes to Kamadev and he tells Kamadev that please you shoot your arrows on Narada Muni. His tapasya should become bhang. And Narada Muni is sitting in deep meditation, meditating and chanting the names of the Lord. And there, Kamadev is trying to throw his arrows and incite lustful desires in the mind and heart of Narada Muni. So he's not successful. He becomes exhausted and tired. So he says, one last arrow I'm going to throw. And that arrow is not of lust, but of appreciation and praise. Acharyas have explained that praise, the hankering for and the desire for praise and adoration and distinction is the subtle form of lust. So he says, let me try this one last arrow. And he calls out, he says, Narada Muni, you are so great. I threw these same arrows on Lord Shiva and he became angry and he burnt me to ashes. But you, I'm throwing these arrows on you and you did not do anything. You remained equipoised. You are even greater than Lord Shiva. Immediately hearing this appreciation from Kamadev, Narada Muni opened his eyes and he began to think, yes, that's a fact. That is true. I am. So Narada Muni immediately goes to Lord Shiva. Did you hear what happened? You know, that this is the nature of false pride. This is the nature of the hankering for appreciation. We become so bewildered that we start glorifying ourselves. So Narada Muni goes to Lord Shiva. This is Narada Muni. He's representing a conditioned soul here, just to give us very instructive lessons that how careful we need to be when we have this intense desire of appreciation and adoration. So he immediately, when he goes to Lord Shiva and he says, you know, Lord Shiva, did you hear what happened? Kamadev came to me and he was shooting arrows and I was equipoised. You became angry, but I remained equipoised. So Lord Shiva smiled and he said, you told me this, but don't go and tell anybody else this. So Narada Muni in his mind, he's thinking, oh, maybe Lord Shiva has now become envious of me. He's become jealous. He's thinking, if I tell everybody, then my fame will spread. That is the nature of adoration, the urge to desire more and more appreciation. We want more and more people to like us and appreciate us, constantly validate us. So Lord Shiva tells Narada Muni, don't tell this to anybody else. But he understands it. He relates it in his mind in a way that, oh, maybe Lord Shiva is actually telling me this because he does not want me to be glorified. So Narada Muni goes to Lord Vishnu and he says, my Lord, did you hear what happened? And he narrates the same pastime again. You know, Kamadev came, I did not get angry, I remained equipoised. And Lord Vishnu hears this. And as a loving father and a well-wisher, Lord Vishnu does not appreciate pride, even a drop of pride in the hearts of his devotees. Lord Vishnu said, now is the time that I need to teach my wonderful devotee a lesson. So as soon as Narada Muni leaves, he ends up into this beautiful city. And while just strolling into the city, chanting the names of the Lord, he enters into the palace. And in that palace, this wonderful king, he's actually performing. He said, "Oh, Narada Muni, you have come. Tomorrow is actually, the Swayamvar of my beautiful daughter." And he calls his beautiful daughter, "Please bless my daughter." And this daughter is the most beautiful daughter. Her name was also Vishwasundari. In Shiv Puran, she's also known as Shrimati. In Ramayana, she's known as Vishwasundari. We have Miss Universe, Miss World nowadays, right? I think it's picked up from the Vedas. So she was known as Vishwasundari. She was so beautiful. And at that point, Narada Muni becomes mesmerized with her beauty. So he immediately goes back to Lord Vishnu and he says, "Lord Vishnu, I want to ask for one desire. I have one desire in my heart, that tomorrow I'm going for this Swayamvar, and I want that she should choose me. But look at my form. Please give me your form. Let me resemble you tomorrow." So at that time, Lord Vishnu says that, "Narada Muni, I will do what is best for you." So within his heart, he was convinced that he is going to have the most beautiful form. And tomorrow he is going to walk away with Vishwasundari having a garland in his neck. So he goes right in the first row and he sits down that, Vishwasundari will come. She doesn't have to go very far. She will put the garland and we will leave. And he sits down over there. The minute Vishwasundari comes, she sees him as the first person. She skips that whole line. Over there, the acharyas explain that you should also make sure which company you're sitting in. So Lord Vishnu actually gives Narada Muni the face of a monkey. And so the acharyas explain, see, just because all the other assembled in those lines were associated with Narada Muni, she skipped all of them also. She just skips and she goes to the next line. So at that point, in great depth, Lord Shiva is explaining to Parvati that, thinking that, oh, maybe she missed seeing me, Narada Muni goes and joins the next line. And he's trying to follow every line she goes to. And everybody starts to laugh over there. And some of the Ganas actually say that, "Have you seen your face?" So at that point, Narada Muni becomes shocked. So he goes to the closest pond and he looks at his face and he sees that Lord Vishnu has actually given him the form of a monkey. And when he comes back to the arena, he's seeing that Lord Vishnu is sitting there and Vishwasundari garlands Lord Vishnu, and the Swayamvar is complete. So first he was hurt that he was given the form of a monkey. And secondly, Lord Vishnu actually gets married to Vishwasundari. So at that point, Narada Muni had had enough. He curses Lord Vishnu and he says that, "May you be bereft of your dearmost consort, and may you have to be dependent on monkeys like you have given me the form of this monkey." And the minute he curses this, from the arena, Vishwasundari, this whole beautiful palace, everything disappears. And Narad Muni comes to his consciousness that this was actually Yoga Maya. This was actually Maya that I was illusioned with. This is not fact. There was no Vishwasundari. There was nobody. This was actually Lakshmi Devi. And I was attracted to my own mother. So he becomes very, very repentful. But then he cursed Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu, of course, by his own desire, takes the the wonderful incarnation of Lord Ramchandra and suffers a separation from Mother Sita and takes help of the monkeys. This is also because of the curse of Narada Muni. Then, of course, the fourth reason explained here is because of Manu and Shatarupa's austerities. Manu and Shatarupa, they performed such severe austerities. And when the Lord appeared in front of them, they said, "We have no other desire, but we desire you as our child." And that is when Lord Ramchandra appeared to Dasharath and Mother Kaushalya. The fifth reason, the Acharyas, Lord Shiva is explaining to Mother Parvati, is that it was because of the atrocities of Ravana. Ravana was, his atrocities had come to the brim. Everybody was saturated with suffering. And that is why Lord Ramchandra appeared, which is actually explained, Chalata Dashanand Dolata Avani. It is says that, when Dashanand used to walk, the whole earth planet used to tremble in fear. Chalata Dashanand Dolata Avani. Garjat Garba Starva Suraravani. That just by his speech, the minute Ravana would start to speak, even the pregnant women would have miscarriages. They were so fearful. He was so powerful to deliver everyone from the atrocities of Ravana. Lord Ramchandra appears. But Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says all these are superficial reasons of the appearance, vichitra reasons, cursing and all of that, and fighting. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains that Bhakta Gana Sukha Dete Prabhura Avatar. The Lord does not appear to kill the demons or annihilate miscreants. He can send anyone to do that. He comes to give pleasure. Sukha Dete Prabhura Avatar. He comes to give pleasure to the devotees and to devotees like us who are relishing the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra. So these were the reasons why Lord Ramchandra appears. And it is beautifully, beautifully described by, the reciters of Ramayana. Now, there's a little chopai that I want to read here. Naumi tithi madhumasa punita. Navmi tithi. On the 9th tithi, Navami tithi. That's why we say Rama Navami. Navami tithi madhumasa punita. Madhumas is actually Chaitra Mas. And Srila Radha Govinda Maharaj explains why it is also called as Madhumas, because it is a very sweet month. It is the month when the honeybees make the most of honey. Madhumasa Punita. Punita means pure because of the appearance of the Lord. Shukala Paksha Abhijita Muhurata. In Shukala Paksh, on the Navami Tithi, in Madhumas, at the Abhijit Muhurata. Abhijit Muhurata appears in midday. That is when the beautiful form of Lord Ramchandra appears in Ayodhya to captivate the hearts of the inhabitants and to give pleasure to the devotees. So thank you so much. I know we've gone a little over. Thank you so much, everyone, for your attentive participation. I just want to open it up to any reflections, any questions, any comments you have.
Thank you, Mataji. It was awesome. We are watching in family. So with each login, we have 4 or 5 devotees watching. That's how we are doing during COVID time.
Yes.
So thank you so much for such a beautiful class. I see Lal Gopal Prabhu is also here. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. And we
Hare
were
Krishna,
very happy. Thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna, Dandavad Mataji, Hare Krishna, so sweet, very nice. Uh, thank you so much for giving your time. I know how busy you are. I really appreciate giving your time for our congregation here. I'm sure everyone enjoyed your. Sorry.
I said, thank you so much for the opportunity. I was
Thank,
thinking that Lord
thank you.
Shiva also chants that, He's very grateful for the opportunity to recite the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra.
Jai,
Beyond grateful for that.
Jai Sri Ram ki Jai. Thank you
Yeah.
for enlightening more on Rama's qualities and greatness. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, anybody has any comment, questions, anything that you would like to discuss with Mataji? Please, you can unmute yourself. If you like, turn your camera on and you can talk directly. Hare Krishna. We'll start with Benugopal Prabhu. I see there is some vibration there.
Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful narration.
Thank you.
I've never heard the 5 reasons for Rama's appearance, so it was very unique for me to understand more reasons other than the Putra Kameshti Yajna and for killing of Ravana. I did not know other reasons, so it was enlightening for me. Thank you. Greatly appreciate your.
Lord Shiva describes just Mother Parvati.
Which Purana, Mataji?
It comes even in Ramayana and it also comes in Shiv Puran.
I see. Yes. In Ramayana, it's this is all narrated.
Yes, it is narrated.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
So
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavad. Mataji, it was really beautiful stories you narrated today. And since Ram Navami, I have been into knowing more about Rama and Ram Leela. So this was really like a prasadam for me, Thank you so much.
For your encouragement. It is, I was very grateful to be able to meditate. I started to read this morning and I was also very enlivened to meditate on the wonderful pastimes of the Lord. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I was just going to add a point that how much can't even imagine how much you can take from Ramayana. Each time we hear Ramayana, it's just unbelievable. So much we learn, and from your lecture today, so much I personally also learned, even though I missed some part of it. But it's like a ocean where you deepen, you just keep collecting so many things from Ramayana. And it is also said that during Rama's time, every citizen of Ayodhya had their own Ramayana, meaning their own relationship that they had with Rama. It makes itself as a Ramayana. So there's so many Ramayanas are there, even personally. Thank you, Mataji again. That's all I just want to share.
Description. Thank you, Prabhu. It's beautiful. There is a description where Lord Shiva gets the Ramayana, which has 104 verses. And what he does is, as a compassionate Vaishnava, he gives 33 crores to the higher planetary systems, 33 crores to the middle planetary systems, and 30 crores to the lower planetary systems. And he has 1 crore. Then he's thinking, what am I going to do with these 1 crore? So he gives more 33, divides them further. 33. 33 lakhs, 33 lakhs, 33 lakhs. And then further he has, 1 lakh. Again, 1 lakh, he's wondering, what am I going to do with 1 lakh? Like this, he distributes and distributes. He's down to 1 verse. And in this verse, it is said that it was Anupshir Chandaha, had 17 syllables. So he distributes. And all he is left with is 2 syllables, Ra and Ma. And he said, if I have Ra and Ma, Rama, that is sufficient for me. The whole Ramayana is included in Rama. And by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we chant that every single day. We're actually reciting, according to Lord Shiva, we're reciting Ramayana several times a day, simply by meditating on the word Rama. So that is how Lord Shiva has broken down the 100 crore verses into these 2 syllables.
Jai Sri Ram ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Anybody has anything that they would? We have still some time, so go ahead if you have anything.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Then pranam. Thank you very much for such a nice discourse on Ramayana. I just like to clarify a little doubt, Mataji. Like one of the 5 reasons is the Tulsi Shaligram as well. One of the pastimes you narrated, right?
Yes.
I'm just trying to relate, Mataji, how Tulsi Shaligram or Shaligram, Prince of Shaligram, become the reason for the Rama. Maybe I missed it. If you already told it, I just like to.
No problem. So actually, at that time, Vrinda Devi, she curses Lord Vishnu that may you suffer separation from your beloved, because her husband is killed at that time, right? So she curses without knowing that this is even Vishnu. She sees the forehead, she sees the head, chopped off head of her husband in her lap. And then she's seeing a form of her husband standing right there. So she becomes very bewildered and she realizes that she has been cheated. That is why, otherwise, without her being, she was not unchaste, she was cheated. Of course, she associated with the Lord. And the Lord did this to protect the demigods. So at that point, she curses Lord Vishnu that may you suffer separation from your wife. And that is why Lord Ramchandra, he was bereft of the association of Mother Sita. And of course, Vrinda Devi was again born as Tulsi Maharani. And she was wedded with Shaligram Shila, which is, she also cursed Lord Vishnu over there, that you're standing here because he did not say a word. He said, you're standing here like a stone. May you become a stone. May you suffer the separation from your wife and may you become a stone. So Lord Vishnu, because to give pleasure to his devotee, he becomes a stone, which is our Shaligram Shilas that we worship. And we every year perform Tulsi Shaligram Vibha. Remember these beautiful pastimes. Does that help you, Guru?
Yes, Mataji. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We can take one more question if anybody has. Deepa Mataji, I see Bajaswari Pran Didi there. So many devotees. Jiwana Mataji, if you have anything, you can also go ahead. Anybody has anything? We can take one more.
Actually, I wanted to talk a little bit about Jiva Goswami when he says, Rakar Srimati Radha. So, like I was explaining, the Rama in the Maha Mantra that we chant can represent Lord Ramchandra, can represent Balaram. But according to Jiva Goswami, he chants this beautiful verse, Rakara Srimati Radha. So the Ra in the Rama is actually Srimati Radha. Makara Madhusudano. So Ra is Radharani, Ma is Madhusudana, and together, Dvaya Vigraha Sambhava, when they come together, that is Ramanam iti khilad. That is the beauty, the blossomed Ramanam. So actually, Rama is also Radharani and Madhusudana together.
Yeah.
So the beautiful, the acharyas have explained that the personality of Lord Ramchandra is very Ujjvala. They call him Ujjvala Charitra. Very clear, very adarsh, very symbolic, very dharma. And that is why he's born in the broad daylight. Whereas our Krishna, and that is why, many acharyas have given commentary that he's born on Navami. 9 is always 9. I think in math also we've learned, right? 9 ones are 9, 9 twos are 18. 18 again, 1 plus 8 is again 9. So if you keep doing the math, 9 threes are 27. 2 plus 7 again is 9. 9 is always stable. He's always dhira. Ramachandra, Ranadhira. So he's always, whereas our Lord Krishna is born in Ashtami. Lots of turns and twists. He stands also like that, Tribhanga. So Lord Ramchandra's Charitra is very, very exemplary. He's Dharmanishta. Okay, Prabhu, so whatever is your next program.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. We are very delighted to have your association. Really appreciate, giving us your precious time and such a beautiful, lecture on, we just finished Ramanavami. So this was really, perfect time to hear pastime of Lord Sri Ramchand. And you really, gave us very, enlightening time. We really feel very, very thankful for your association. I'm looking forward to have more association. I don't know how long this COVID thing will go, but if needed, we'll, definitely, try to come back to you and request if you can give more of your association and give some sort of classes again. Really appreciate. Before we adjourn, we'll just chant the Vaishnava pranams. Vanchkalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvya evascha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Assemble Bhakti Govinda ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya His Divine Grace Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So as all of you know, we are going through a very tough time in India. The COVID thing has really gone out of control. And as I'm hearing the news, I'm very much saddened, and I don't have word to express my pain and the deep emotional feeling that I'm seeing, how COVID is really damaging India right now. So I request all of you to keep your relatives and your near and dear ones in your prayer, and if you can, please chant maybe 1 or 2 or few extra rounds for their welfare, and we'll try to see if we can have some chanting or some sort of kirtan or something special to pray for all the suffering that's going on in India. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, and we'll see you tomorrow.